All right, folks, so we're going to be looking at a new bow today that I just finished up, and we're going to use this to answer the question of how in the world a crooked bow can shoot straight. So stick around. All right, so this bow is 64 inches overall length. It's an Osage Selfbow, but it's got cottonmouth skins on the back. Now, you can see that this thing is anything but straight. There's a lot of snaky grain to it. And for those of you who might be new to bow building, especially building bows from staves that you get from trees, you might wonder why you would do this. And so just as an explanation, when you build bows from staves, you're going to follow the grain of the tree. You're going to follow that natural grain, and in this particular stave, the grain was all twisty and just had these natural features in the stave, and so if you follow the grain in the stave, that's going to show up in the bow. Now here in just a little bit, we're going to go out here and shoot with this thing and see if I can hit anything. So this bow is cool for a couple of reasons. One is because obviously it's got the snaky grain to it, but this stave has got a lot of history. It was harvested, I think, in 1997. These snakes came from the swamp where I grew up as a little kid. I was out there the other day and spent a couple hours out there and came across a couple of cottonmouths. Went ahead and took them and put on the back of this bow. The snakes are relatively young snakes, and so those younger snakes, the patterns tend to be a little bit more vibrant, and so that's why I focus on the smaller snakes. I actually found a really big cottonmouth out there, one of the biggest I've ever seen, but when they get big like that, the patterns kind of wash out a little bit, so I went ahead and just let her go. So I was out here yesterday and there was a pretty good size cottonmouth over here that got away from me. So I'm gonna go over there and see if I can find him again. They usually are pretty loyal to their little spots. They don't really roam that far. So if you see one somewhere, you come back, if he gets away from you, come back a little later, they'll oftentimes be in that same spot or very close to it. Sometimes you'll see them in the water. Oftentimes you'll see them right along the bank, but they're usually laying kind of up on a little bit. If they're up on dry land, they're kind of up on a little bit of a prominent spot. So there are tons of leopard frogs in here, and that is one of their primary prey species. There's one right there. That's one of the biggest cottonmouths I have ever seen. That thing is a giant. Oh my God, that's a big one. So that is one of the biggest cottonmouths I have ever seen. I spent my life in this swamp. I'm out here looking for snakes for bow backings, but we're gonna let her go. For two reasons. One is when they get big like that, their patterns kind of wash out and they just don't look that good. But then secondly, she's just a really big snake. just an impressive specimen, and I'd feel bad about killing her. So we're gonna let her go and see if we can't find something a little bit smaller. Crawfish mounds, tubes, holes, what are we going to call them? That one just ate a frog or something. We'll see what's in its belly. So that one is going to be perfect. I got one yesterday that was just about exactly the same size. So let's go put them on a bow. I've got the perfect one for it. So got a hay bale out here. It's probably about 15 yards or so. Not a great distance, but certainly enough to show you that a bow like this can shoot very accurately and very straight. So you might ask why I shoot one arrow at a time, and I've explained this in previous shooting videos, but I feel like it just helps to maintain that concentration. And my end goal of archery is hunting, and in hunting, it's that one shot that counts. There we go. I put this on Instagram the other day, and it was sold within about 10 minutes. So if you're a student of archery and you're looking at my form, you're going to notice that I'm not really getting full alignment and full extension with this thing. So don't try to emulate what I'm doing here, and don't critique my form too much. The reason that I look like I'm a little bit hunched up is because I am. I tillered this bow out to 28 inches for someone with a 28-inch draw, and my draw is more like 29. And so I'm not getting full extension with this thing. And if you need an explanation on what I'm talking about, like back tension and extension and alignment and all that stuff, I have other videos that'll show you the proper way to do it. But I just wanted to mention, don't try to do what I'm doing here. But even though I'm not able to get good form, good alignment and everything, I can still shoot this thing fairly well. I'm just a little bit hunched up. And so this elbow, if you'll notice, this elbow is a little bit forward, and it should be back. My forearm should be in perfect alignment with that arrow, but it's not quite there. So as you can see, there is absolutely nothing wrong with the accuracy or the performance of this bow. It actually shoots very nice. It's very dead in hand, meaning it doesn't have a lot of hand shock. All that energy is being transferred to the arrow, so it's a very efficient bow. But to explain to you what's going on here, I think a lot of times people see the laminated bows and everything's lined up. They have nice, clean, smooth flowing lines. and then they see a bow like this that has a bunch of snaky grain to it, and they get it in their head that these bows are inherently inferior to those laminated bows when it comes to accuracy or performance or something like that. And I'm here to tell you that that is not necessarily the case. It comes down to how well the bow is designed and how well the bow is built. But for a bow like this, there's really only 3 points on this bow that need to line up so that the bow is technically designed correctly and is going to perform right. And that is, the nocks need to align with the center of the handle. So if you look down this thing, you can see that the string makes a straight line right dead center through the handle. Now, if the string was off to one side or the other and the handle wasn't aligned with that, the bow's going to twist in your hand when you go to draw it. But with this particular bow, everything's lined up, and so it's going to draw nice. It's not going to torque in your hand when you draw it, and it's going to shoot nice. So if you are interested in a bow like this, you could definitely come out and take a class and build your own, or you could sign up for Patreon and get access to like almost 30 exclusive Patreon only bow building videos where I go take a deep dive into bow performance and building things like this. And then also I've got my DVDs that you can check out, or you can just buy one from me, whatever floats your boat. But I just wanted to take a minute to show you this new bow and talk to you about why these crooked bows can shoot straight. So I hope you learned something. Hope you enjoyed the video. Subscribe if you're not already, and we'll see you next time.